Sub is a self-driving vehicle service company catered particularly to elderly and disabled people that is a substitute to doing errands on your own. To start, according to the business model generation, a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. It consists of 9 different building blocks: customer segments, value proposition, channels, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partnerships, and finally cost structure. This model is quick, simple, and changeable, which allows for universal understanding more so than the traditional business plan. Value proposition is what creates a specific value for the customer segments. It is the why the product is worth buying and the how it is different from anything else. It is simply what you are building that solves a need for a customer. Sub is unique because it allows seniors and the disabled to have their errands done for them with a self-driving car. The value proposition elements of convenience and getting the job done are fulfilled with this service. The car will go to the grocery, pharmacy, home repair shop, and food delivery stores to pick up whatever desired just with the simple call to the service phone line. The representative alerts the store worker of the request, then the goods are loaded, and then conveniently returned to the customer. The customer segment defines different groups of people and organizations a company aims to reach and serve. Since customers do not exist to buy and we exist for them, it is critical to determine why they should buy. The customer segment is a niche market, since Sub caters to a specific specialized group of people, which are the elderly population and the disabled. They are targeted because these populations usually cannot drive well given their age or condition, or the user lives alone. Obviously, the general population, which is the mass market segment, would not be applicable for Sub because they are capable of doing errands on their own. Therefore, this service exists for the elderly and disabled. Channels describe how a company communicates with and reaches its customer segment in order to deliver the value proposition. It is how the product will be sold and distributed. The service is brought aware to the customers via advertisements and on the internet and the newspaper predominantly. Since most elderly people do not use smartphones, it is tough to have a direct phone app channel to provide the service. Newspapers would be the best channel, therefore. Furthermore, since it's a self-service driving company, there are no stores or partner stores. The service is used for the first time, and then the contact number for future services is there to continue the use. Customer relationships describe types of relationships the company establishes with a specific customer segment. It is how customers are gotten, kept, and grown. Sub establishes an automated services customer relationship. Since it's a self-driving service, there is a direct assistance with the customer, but there is no human interaction. Therefore, it simulates a personal customer relationship since the vehicle acts as a personal driver who takes you to go to the grocery store or brings you back your medicine. Revenue stream is a strategy of how the company generates cash from each customer segment, either classified as transaction revenues from one-time payments or recurring revenues from ongoing payments to deliver value propositions. The main revenue stream is usage fees, as it is a service and not a product. A rate is calculated similar to the rate for a taxi. There is a flat rate, then a charge for every 0.1 miles you spend in the vehicle or for trips over 30 minutes. Since it is a service, there is no asset sale or licensing fee. They can have a recurring revenue stream from subscription fees if the customer buys continuous access for the service. Key resources are the most important assets for a company, usually in the finance, physical, intellectual, and human categories. Sub relies heavily on physical assets. Obviously, the main asset is the vehicle itself and its platforms for accommodating people with disabilities. Human drivers are not needed, but their assets of intelligence and programming competence are needed to actually execute the self-driving ability of the vehicle. Without the intellectual assets, the service cannot be trustworthy. Key partnerships surround what key resources are being acquired from suppliers in the key activities they perform. Such partnerships are motivated by optimization and economies of scale and reduction of uncertainty. Sub has a strategic alliance with the local businesses that the customers most frequently visit. These local businesses are the reason why the self-driving service is used, because the service is used to take customer places, not to just drive them around. Therefore, local businesses can endorse the use of the service in return for shopping at their stores. Key activities are the most important things a company must do, which usually include efficient production, critical problem-solving methods, and proper supply chain management. The most key activity Sub has to do is a constant evaluation of surrounding cars and traffic. The technology has to be able to recognize where the cars on the road are at all times, so merging, turning, and smooth driving are as perfect as can be. If it is not the case, then there's a high risk with the self-driving cars. Therefore, overall safety is the most important. A self-driving car should not be a life or death situation. Cost structure describes all costs and expenses incurred to operate a business model. Some examples are value-driven versus cost-driven costs, fixed versus variable costs, and economies of scope. The most significant costs are variable, notably the gas used in the car. There are also infrequent general checkups for the car, which is also variable. There is a continual research and development cost, since more effective and safe self-driving methods are always sought. Sub uses a value-driven approach, as they provide their service at a higher value with a lower cost. Through this business model, we can conclude why sub service will improve the everyday life of people who need it the most.